What's up, everybody? It's your boy Movie View, man. I'm back with another video. It's been a little minute, but I'm back. We're back to talk about some film. We're back to talk about Superman, right? I've seen Superman the movie. I saw it last night, 7 p.m. Slept on it. You know, as an Amazon Prime member, I got to see it yesterday, but I wanted to give y'all my immediate, raw, unfiltered thoughts, man. And honestly, you know, the main feeling I'm left with is unfulfillment. I feel very unfulfilled. Like, that's it. You know, it didn't have a warm, magical feeling. You know, I crave from a Superman story myself. You know, I didn't cry or anything. You know, this movie for me just didn't feel magical. It's not bad. It's not great either. You know, it's good. But after all the anticipation and after all the online, you know, talk and noise leading up to it, I left feeling like I wanted more. I left feeling profoundly unfulfilled with what, you know, I was presented with, what I got. Let's start with what really worked. The Daily Planet crew was genuinely cool, right? They brought a nice, you know, vibrant energy to Metropolis, I thought. Jimmy Olsen in particular was fantastic. You know, he was easily the best of the whole crew for me. You know, I did wish that, you know, some of the other folks in the Daily Planet had some more screen time. But what we saw, I felt was pretty solid. You know, but beyond the Daily Planet, I really loved Metamorpho and Mr. Terrific. They were awesome additions, you know, to the team, to the film itself. And Guy Gardner, oh my goodness, I thought he was super dope. I like Guy Gardner, you know, the little bit we did get of these characters. And these characters weren't on, it didn't feel like it was too many characters in this story. I did not feel that at all. That was all bull jive, you know, online. You know, the characters, you know, kind of were a blast to watch. I would say except for Hawkgirl, kind of meaningless, pointless. I also thought Rachel Brosnahan's Lois Lane was good. I thought it was a good portrayal of the character. A good portrayal of the character. You know, she felt right in the role for me. Nicholas Hoult, Lex Luthor, was truly good. It was a good portrayal. I would have wanted her to be a bit more evil and sadistic, but you know, it was a really good portrayal using his brains to kind of get to Superman. You could absolutely feel the hate, pure vitriol for Superman. So you can feel those things. And that dynamic was a highlight, you know, kind of a highlight that worked for me really well. As for Superman himself, David Corenswet, you know, he embodied a lot of what I feel is true and accurate to the core of Superman, the character. I really enjoyed him. He has the look, and many moments felt super authentic to, you know, the Man of Steel, in my humble opinion. But here's where it starts to fall flat for me, this movie. Here's where this movie has issues. The overall story was meh. It was blah to me. You know, like I said, not great, not bad. I still was left wanting more from the story. You know, the absence of the magical feels, no tears for me afterwards. I'm not saying I needed to cry, but like nothing moved me. It just means the movie kind of lands and then stops, falls flat, right on its face. I think I expected a certain kind of Superman. Honestly, I didn't like him all the time. You know, there are moments where it feels like Superman is almost pleading and begging and monologuing to Lex Luthor to believe why he's human and why he deserves to be recognized as human and what makes him human and all this stuff, you know. And for me, that to me isn't really Superman. I wanted more confidence, more of that like inherent presence when Superman is on screen. You know, he's the Man of Steel. He should carry that undeniable aura about himself, you know. The action was good, don't get me wrong, but Crypto felt kind of unnecessary. You know, it's a major point of frustration for me. You know, there's this deep, intense moment between Superman and Lex, a moment where I completely was invested, right, and completely drawn in. But then good old James Gunn has to bring the comedy using Crypto and pulls me right out of, you know, this powerful moment Lex and Superman's having. It completely undercuts the emotional impact, right? It's a recurring theme with Gunn style, you know, that just doesn't always land, you know, especially in a Superman film. The relationship between Lois and Clark also felt forced, non-organic. You know, they've seemingly been dating for a while, and she doesn't even seem to know how she truly feels about him, apparently. You know, as a fan of Clois, you know, that just fell so incredibly flat for me, man. It was so disappointing not to see the romance kind of build, or even if it's already established, the romance carry itself organically throughout the film. Make me care about their relationship and them. Don't just give it to me on screen and you want me to accept it, right? I didn't care for that at all. Overall, the story could have been better. While Superman was good, he also, you know, he wasn't great. I also felt, you know, also left feeling like I didn't see Superman as a leader of men, a leader of any of the group members, a leader in general. He's kind of doing his own thing, right? The Justice Gang was cool, but their inclusion's nice, but Mr. Terrific was cooler than the group as a whole, right? Can this Superman even lead a Justice League eventually, you know, when it happens? I don't know. That's to be determined. But based on what I saw tonight, I'm very skeptical of that. Maybe I'm wrong, and it'll grow on me. But right now, I don't see that commanding presence I want from Superman or Superman, you know, movie. I have problems with this film. Obviously, it felt like they were checking off boxes. It felt like James Gunn took a mental checklist of things of the past Superman films and what they didn't do, and said, we'll do all those things in this film, and ended up feeling like a mashup of moments, a collection of parts and pieces of a Superman movie, rather than a cohesive, you know, fully, you know, full film. You know, you kind of leave empty. The villains were solid, you know, sure, but it still falls short for me, man. You know, ultimately, this was very James Gunn, but also in some ways not so much, you know, and some pointless cameos. I didn't like those either, you know. If I had to give it a score, I'd say it was 4 out of 5. You know, I'm kind of ticking towards 3.5 out of 5, but it's solid. It has its moments, you know, but it's not this transcendent experience I hoped for and was hearing online how generational it was and all of that stuff. And it makes me think about the people who saw this movie a day before the Amazon screen, people like who are regular folk, the people who saw this movie who was kind of, you know, Warner Brothers brought them out. I'm starting to really think these people are shills, man, because, you know, I get it. It's their opinion, you know, and all this stuff is subjective or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't get none of the reviews. And like, I was hype over the reviews. I'm like, cool. But I knew I had to see it for myself because, you know, these people are on red carpets and stuff. And I'm like, okay, let me see for myself and make an actual sound judgment based off what I like, you know, and those ratings or those opinions of those people who saw it on Monday might be true to them. But, you know, I'm not, if it was really good and perfect Superman movie, I would say it was. I feel like it's slightly better than other Superman films. And I don't even like the darker themed Zack Snyder. I don't even like that. And I don't think it's better than Christopher Reeve's first movie. I just don't think so. That's sad to me. David Corenswet, he is Superman, but he's just not mine yet. There's potential, and maybe, just maybe, with future films, he'll, you know, grow into that Superman I'm looking for. But for right now, I left the theater wanting more, and feeling, you know, a distinct lack of magical moments or whatnot, right? The score was booty juice. There was no real score. Only the one we heard in the trailers. That's it. And like the sweet one, that one was cool. With like this sweet humming. I think they said it was his mom or something. We saw the mom and dad, Bradley Cooper, and I don't know the mom's name, but that was cool. I love the engineer. Like I like these characters, man. But the movie, I don't know, just fell flat for me. So those are my immediate raw kind of. Not immediate because I went to sleep last night, but those are my raw, honest thoughts and feelings after seeing Superman. What are y'all thoughts, man? If you've seen it, did you feel the magic? Or did you also leave feeling a little unfulfilled? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, y'all, and subscribe for more movie talks. All right? I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.